So in this unit we are going to discuss about the primary and the secondary tillage implement. First we see the mower plow. This plow is drawn by the animal and the tractor. It is used for the soil pulverization and making the furrows and the removing the weeds. Next we see the part of the MB plow. It has a component like share, MB, landside, frog and the brace. This is the animal drawn MB plow. It has a component like handle, standard, beam and the plow bottom. Next you see the tractor down MB plow. It contains share, MB, jointer, coupler, frame and depth of the control screw. Next we see the type. What are the type of shares? Slip share, slip nose share, shin share, bore share and bore point share. Next we see the type of mode load. It contains stubble bottom, then general purpose type, then high speed bottom type, slut type bottom, then the sword breaker bottom. Next you see the use of landside in the MB plow. Landside acts as one of the wedge which is formed with the share. It is a long flat metal piece bolted to the side of the frog. Then it absorbs the side thrust that is caused when the furrow slice is turned and provided lateral stability to the plow. Then the length of landslide depends on the type of the plow and the soil. Next we see the moldboard accessories. First is depth control wheel. It helps in maintaining the uniform depth and it is mostly variable in the extremely ploughing condition. Next coupler. It is used to help loosening the furrow slice from the wall. It also cuts through the trash so that plough can cover it better. Then jointer is used to like a miniature plough bottom and hang over the plough bottom. It cut off a narrow ribbon of the furrow slide just above the soil and a little head of the plow. Then rear furrow wheel. It helps in carry the side thrust of the plow against the furrow wall. On longer mounted type plow, the rear furrow wheel supports the rear and of the plow also. Then it takes 1/3 of weight of the plow. It keeps the plow running straight and also control the depth of the rear bottom of the plow. Next you see the coupler function. It helps in cut the soil to the half to the 2/3 of the furrow slough and also helps in cutting the furrow slide edge and leave the furrow wall clean. It also cuts the trash over the surface of the field for better coverage by the furrow slice. Then it helps in reduces the plow draft. In hot soil, the center of coupler should be slightly bigger in the share point. For normal and the hot soil, it should be above the share point. For sorry soil, it should be above the share, but 12 mm above. And transversely, it is 12 to 20 mm towards the land side. Then there are different type of coupler. First is a plain coupler, notched coupler, a fluted or ripple edge coupler. So first, a plain coupler, it is used when trash is not heavy. Then notched coupler is used in the hard ground and the heavy trash condition. Fluted or ripple edge coupler, this type is used in the very heavy trash condition. Next we see the function of jointer. It helps in cut the soil up to 50 to 75 mm furrow slice from the top, and the trash at the top of the furrow slice is moved then towards the plow land so that it can be buried deeper. A little soil is thrown on the top of the trash to reduce its tendency to pitch. Then it also reduces the air spaces. Then transversely it is 12 to 16 mm away from the landslide. Next we see the function of rear furrow wheels. It is mostly used in the tractor drawn plow. The function of the rear furrow wheel is to carry the side thrust of the plow against the furrow wall. On larger mounted type plow, the rear furrow wheel supports the rear end of the plow also. It also helps to control the depth of the rear bottom of the plow. It reduces the land side pressure. It should be the clearance of 12 to 20 mm from the furrow wall. Next we see the disc plow. First we see what is meant by disc plow. Then next we see what are the difference between the MB plow and the disc plow. First we see the definition for the disc plow. Plow which cut, turns and break furrow slice by means of separately mounted large steel disc. Then it is designed with a view of reduced friction by making a rolling plow bottom instead of sliding plow bottom. It works well in the condition where MB plow does not work. Next we see a type of disc plow. There are two main categories. One is a bullock drawn. Then it can be classified among according to the mounting, and the next third is the tractor drawn. First we see by using the bullock drawn, we use the slicky type and the gang type. So gang type is attached to the universal frame which is mounted on the two wheels. Then according to the mounting type, there are mounted, semi-mounted and the trailed mounted disc plow. Next we see the tractor down. There are different type of plow but implemented by the tractor. First is a standard disc plow, vertical disc plow or harrow plow or wetland plow, then cylindrical plow or disc thriller or thriller disc plow. This picture shows the different type of disc plow. First we see the standard disc plow. It has the steel disc of 60 to 90 cm diameter set at an angle to the direction of the travel. Then each disc revolves on a stub angle in a thrust bearing carried at the lower end of a strong stand which is bolted to the plow beam. Then angle of the disc to the vertical and to the furrow wall is adjustable. In while action, the disc cut the soil and break it and push it the sideways. Then little inversion of furrow slice, the little burying of weeds and the trashes. From mounter type or trailer type, in mounted disc plow, the side thrust is taken by the wheel of the tractor. Next we see what are the disc angle and the tilt angle. Disc angle is nothing but the angle at which plane of the cutting edge of the disc is inclined to the direction of the travel. The angle should be between the 42 to 45 degree. Then we see the tilt angle, angle at which the plane of the cutting edge of the disc is inclined to the vertical angle. So the angle varies from the 15 degree to the 25 degree. Next we see the draft of the disc plow. A draft is nothing but the force of the disc plow. It is lighter in draft than moldboard plow, turning the same volume of soil in the similar condition. In very hard soil, extra weight is added to the wheel which increases the draft. Bearing and scrapers of disc plow also affect the draft. Okay, next we see the adjustment on disc plow. It helps in penetration. Penetration is improved by increasing the disc angle. Then penetration is improved by decreasing the tilt angle. Penetration is improved by adding the additional weight on the plow. Depth of penetration ranges between 3 inches to 15 inches. For better penetration, disc should be sharpened. Next we see the how the width of the cut is adjusted by adjusting angle between the land wheel axle and the frame. Then it improved by increasing the disc angle and the decreasing the tilt angle. Then to obtain the proper degree of pulverization and the depth of the curve, the disc should be adjusted. It increase the tilt angle to increase the penetration. Then increase the disc angle to increase the width of the cut, but increasing the disc angle will reduce the depth of the cut. Then the addition of weight on the plow will increase the penetration. Keep the disc edges sharp, and this will reduces the draft requirement. Adjust the plow wheels properly to keep the plow running levels. Next we see the part of the disc plow. First the disc blade. Disc blades are mounted for cutting of soil. The number of blades and diameter determine the plow capacity. Then concavity affect the disc angle and the soil turning. A shallow concavity depends on the diameter of the disc and depth of the cut depends on the diameter of the disc. About 1/3 of blade diameter is the limit for the depth. Then width of cut depends on the diameter of the blade. Then width of cut is normally 0.4 times the diameter of the disc blade. Next, disc is made of heat treated steel of 5 mm to 10 mm thickness. Then amount of concavity varies with the diameter of the disc. So it ranges from the 8 cm for 60 cm diameter disc and 16 cm for 95 cm diameters. Okay, a disc, it should be the circular concave revolving steel plate used for cutting and the inverting the soil. Then scraper is used to remove the soil. Then so the device to remove soil that tends to stick to the working surface of a disc. Then types, a disc scraper used in the non-scouring soils, then a mold board scrapers used to turn over soil and the trash, then hose scraper used in the sticky soil. Then we see what is the concavity. Concavity is in depth measured at the center of the disc by placing its concave side on a flat surface. Next we see the standard type. Then it connects a disc bearing and the plow frame. Then beam is bent for disc attachment for the reducing cost. Next you see the plow frame. It is a standard or attached to the plow frame. It has a provision of the disc angle adjustment, adding or removing the standard and the disc. Next we see the rear furrow wheel. It helps in stabilize the plow and take side thrust, and the rear furrow wheel is fixed at the end. Next we see the bearing part. The disc blades are at an angle to the direction of travel. So both radial and the thrust forces are present. So radial forces push against an axle at right angle, while thrust forces push along the axle. So taper roller bearings are used in the bearing. Next we see the vertical disc plow. It is also called as the one-way disc plow, harrow plow, and a wheatland plow. The discs are uniformly spaced along a common axle or gang bolt and clamped together through the spaces spools. Entire gang rotates as a unit. It is about halfway between the standard disc plow and the disc harrow in its soils working action, used in the plain areas and where shallow ploughing and the mixing of stubble in the soil is recovered. Then diameter of disc varies from 51 to 61 centimeter and spacing from 20 to 25 centimeter apart along the gang bolt. So width of the cut per disc depends on the angle between the gang axle and the direction of the travel. So a disc angle ranges from the 40 to 45 degree. Then this picture shows the different type of disc plow. Next we see the advantages over MB plow. A disc plow can be forced to penetrate into the soil when the soil is too hard and dry for working with the MB plow. So it works well in sticky soil in which MB plow does not penetrate. Okay, useful for deep ploughing, used in the stony and the stumpy soil without much danger of breakaging of the soil. It works well even after a part of disc is worn off in the abrasive soil. So it's work in loose soil without much clogging. Clogging is nothing but the soil aggregates. Okay. Then without scraper it was more mixing action rather than inversion. Then the maintenance cost of the disc plow is low, so there is no share to replace or sharpen. Then disadvantages of disc plow: first, it can't be used at high speed, means in the condition of cutting action it should be the slow speed is necessary. So it is not suitable for covering surface trash and weed as effective as MB plow. Then it leaves rough and the cloudy than MB plow. Heavier than the MB plow for equal capacities, as penetration depends on the weight rather than the suction. Next we see the reversible disc plow. It is similar to the standard disc plow except that it can turns over the furrow slice to left or right side. It having the disc reversible so that soil can be thrown in the same direction regardlessly to the direction of the travel. Okay, it also improves the rate of work but leaves the field flat and the level. So it is found very useful for contour ploughing because operation can be performed back and the forth on the contour line. So it helps in turning the soil in the direction required to prevent the soil erosion. Then slopes gradually leveled by ploughing down the slope every year. Next we see the chisel plow. It is used to break through and shatter compacted or impermeable soil layer. Deep tillage shatters compacted the subsoil layers and aids in better infiltration and storage of rainwater in the root zone. So it helps in improving the soil structure and it results in the better development of root system and it improves the yield of crops and thereby helps the crop to the drop tolerance. Okay, then next we see the component of the chisel plow. It has the share, tine, beam, cross shaft, and the top link connection. Next, we see the subsoil plow. It helps in penetrate the soil deeper than the conventional cultivation machinery and break up the layer of the soil, which has become compacted due to the movement of heavy machinery as a result of the continuous plowing at the constant depth. Then it helps in compacted the areas where prevent the natural drainage of the soil, inhibit passage of air and nutrient through the soil structure. Then consists of the heavier tine than chisel plow. It's break through the impervious layer, shattering the subsoil to the depth of 45 to 75 centimeter, and it requires 60 to 100 horsepower of tractors. Then its advantages are same as that of the chisel plow. Then we see the benefits of chisel and the subsoil plow. It both helps in loosen and aerate the soil. It reduces the effect of compaction. It can helps in the break up hard pans and reduces the soil erosion. It also prevents the formation of the surface crust, in which helps in the water to infiltrate into the soil. Then chisel plow serves weed root below the surface. Next we see the cultivars. First we see the definition of the cultivars. It is an implement for intercultivation with laterally adjustable tines or disc to work between the row crops. It can be used for the preparation of seed bed and for sowing with seeding attachment. The time may have provisions for vertical adjustment also. Then there are different type of cultivators. First we see the disc cultivators, rotary cultivators, and the tine cultivators. This is a type of cultivators. First we see the disc cultivator. This image shows the disc cultivator. It is a cultivator fitted with the disc. Next we see the rotary cultivator. This is a cultivator with the tines or blades mounted on a power driven horizontal shaft. Next we see the tine cultivators. It is a cultivator fitted with tines having the shovel. Next we see the what are the important function of the cultivators. It helps in destroying the weeds in the field. It helps in aerating the soil for proper crop growth. It conserves moisture by preventing the mulch on the surface, and to show seeds when it is provided with the showing attachment. And it helps to prevent the surface evaporation and encourage the rapid infiltration of rainwater into the soil. Next we see the tractor drawn cultivators. There are two types, trailer types and the mounted types. First we see the trailer type cultivators. It consists of the main frame which carries a number of cross members where tines are fitted. At the forward end of the cultivator, there is a hitch arrangement for the hitching purpose. A pair of the wheels are present in the cultivator, and the life is operated by both wheels simultaneously so that a force remains even and uniform. The weight of the hitch is adjusted so that main frame remains horizontal. Then the tines in each rows are spaced widely to allow free passage of soil and the trash around the soil. Then the tines in subsequent rows are started so that implements can cover the entire width evenly. Then the depth of working is set roughly by adjusting the tines in the clamps, and the final depth control is done by the screw lever. So by using the tines, they damage the soil due to turning the implement at the headland without lifting it up. Care should be taken to lift the tines off the ground before turning. Next we see the mounted type cultivator. It depends on the type of soil and the crop. Shovels are chosen for use of the cultivators. Usually tractor down cultivation or two type. It depends on the flexibility and the rigidity of the tines. First we see the cultivar with the spring loaded tines and the cultivar with the rigid tines. This shows the cultivar with the rigid tine and a tractor down spring loaded tines. Next we see what is meant by bun former. So it is used for making the buns or ridges by collecting the soil. Buns are required to hold water in the soil and thereby conserve moisture in and prevent runoff in the cultivated land. The size of the bun former is determined by measuring the maximum horizontal distance between the two rear end of the forming boards. A bund former consists of a forming board, a beam, and a handle. This picture shows the bund former. Next we see the ridger or furrower. A ridger is an implement which cuts and turns the soil into opposite direction simultaneously for forming the ridges also. The ridger generally has a V-shaped or wedge-shaped share fitted to the frog. The nose or the tip of the share penetrates into the soil and breaks the earth. The MB lift inward and cast aside the soil, forming the deep channels and the ridges of the required size. It generally produces a V-shaped share, either rigidly fixed or hinged to the moldboard. A ridger consists of the beam, clevis, frog, handle, MB, braces, share, and the sliding shoe. Then this picture shows the V-shaped ridger. Next we see the leveler. In irrigated areas, land leveling is an essential operation of a farming. So, leveled field receives uniform penetration of irrigation water with a high efficiency. Then, the possibility of water logging and the soil erosion is reduced considerably. The entire leveled field become ready to receive the timely agriculture operation like ploughing, seeding, and the interculturing operation without any delay. Then, smooth fields also facilitated the operation of field equipments and are highly desirable for using the mechanical harvester. Then land leveling is usually done in the slack season when the field is free from crops and the labor and the bullocks are idle. They are operated in the ploughed land to collect the loose soil from the high spots and to dump into the depression. The scraper essentially consists of a bowl or U-shaped steel sheet made of 3 mm thick metals. Its cutting edge is generally made of high carbon steels. Next, this picture shows the hydraulic cylinder, scraper bucket, hydraulic valve, tractor, and the top it has the laser transmitter, laser receiver, and the control box. Next we see the basin lister. In this method of soil and water conservation, basins are constructed using a special implement called basin lister. These basins are constructed across the slope and the dry land. Basin listing provides maximum time to rainwater for infiltration into the soil. Next we see the wetland preparation equipments. What are the equipments used in the wetland? First we see the gauge wheels. This is an iron wheel lugged with the L angles. Then cage wheels are of two types, like half cage wheel and the full cage wheel. The iron legs require the grip and the facilitate easy movement of tractor in the rice field. Half cage wheels are fitted to the rubber tire wheels and it can be used in the wetland. For full cage wheels, tire wheels are removed and used. Now without the full cage wheel is 1 mm and half cage wheel is 0.5 meter. Next we see the puddler. Puddler is used for churning the soil with standing water while preparing field for paddy transplantation. So this is used for after completing an initial ploughing with iron plough or country plough. It helps in break up the clods and turns the soil. Then the main purpose of puddling is to reduce percolating and leaching loss of water and to kill weeds by decomposition and to facilitate transplantation of paddy seedling by making the soil lighter. Then puddling is done in standing water of 5 to 10 centimeter depth. So different type of puddler, namely straight blade, helical blade, paddle type and cage wheel type puddlers are available. Animal drawn puddler consists of 4 to 6 number of 0.5 meter long blades, radial arms to hold the blades, then axle, bush bearing, frame, hitching braces, handle, etc. While pulling, the blades rotate and puddle the soil. The weight of the puddler is 30 to 40 kg. Next, this picture shows the puddler paddle type. It has a different components like frame, puddling unit, radial arms, axle and the beams. This slide shows the working condition of the components. Thank you.